Have got new video footage coming out of ICE raids taking place all over the nation, as we are hearing that they are hitting various cities, taking out some of the worst criminals, and they are capturing them and deporting them on U.S. military planes. Now, I'm going to be sharing for you the video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. We've got tons of video footage that is coming out today, January the 29th, 2025. And also take a look at some of the articles that have been coming out here as well today. Here are the cities where ICE raids are taking place. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested 956 people on Sunday, the largest number of arrests on a single day by the Trump administration to date, and we're hearing more are taking place, and they are hitting up specifically gang leaders. ICE raids, suspected Tren de Agua leader arrested in New York City. New York is a big one. I'm going to be sharing with you so you can see it for yourself. Alleged gang leaders arrested in New York City, wanted in Colorado burglary. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem joins ICE. You're going to see her with the team going through. Joins ICE agents for raids in New York City. ICE 4,500 plus migrants arrested under the new Trump administration, as they are taking what we're hearing is some of the worst criminals that have come here illegally, that are committing heinous crimes against the innocent and against American people. These are their primary targets. They are capturing them. ICE is raiding them, arresting them, and they are putting them on U.S. military planes and deporting them out of the United States. And like I said, we have now got more video footage coming out on this. I'm going to be sharing with you the latest so that way you can see it for yourself. And also these articles are going to be linked down in the description below so that way you can reference them if you like here on the channel. I always cite the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it, and hyperlink it so that way you can see it for yourself. Rest assured, know that it is the latest. And before we dive in, if you appreciate that, do me a quick favor, take a second, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And let's go ahead and get you caught up on the latest so that way you can see exactly what is going on here as the video footage is rolling out, as we're hearing that they are arresting gang leaders now that have come here from various different nations. They are rounding them out, and they are running them up, and they are shipping them out. So let's go ahead and play the video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. Oh, and before we do, like I said, take a quick second, hit that like button for me. Help spread this out further across the YouTube platform. But let's go ahead and take a look at the video footage so you can see it for yourself.
This is a Fox News alert. We are getting an exclusive firsthand look at the latest Trump administration deportation flight from El Paso, Texas to Ecuador.
A total of 80 migrants shipped out on the U.S. aboard a military plane. That one right there. And we're also taking a closer look at the career criminals arrested during the first day of ICE raids right here in New York City.
I mean, this is just incredible stuff. We have team coverage for you. Alexis McAdams is live in New York City. But first, we go to Brooke Taylor, who is in El Paso, Texas. Brooke, what can you tell us about these flights?
Well, first off, we got an exclusive look inside of this plane and exactly how this operation works. You have the military and Border Patrol. They are working together, showing really this massive show of force.
Any regrets coming into the United States illegally?
Shackled one by one, Fox gets an exclusive look as dozens of illegal migrants are escorted onto the C-17 military plane headed back to Ecuador.
Don't come to the United States illegally. If you do come to the United States illegally, you will be removed.
43 females and 37 males packed onto the plane, including some family units. These are illegal migrants from Ecuador who broke the law when they crossed illegally into the U.S. Border Patrol says they were already in custody, either found between ports of entry checkpoints, smuggling operations, or stash houses. While expedited removals aren't new, using military aircraft is.
This is the second largest plane the Air Force has. It's going to fit 80 of these illegal migrants. Border Patrol says the message is if you come into the United States illegally, you will be sent back to your home country.
It's all part of President Trump's plan to utilize military resources and crack down on illegal immigration.
To be able to have people back in their home countries within 7 hours, a range of a plane like this, 2,700 miles, that puts you pretty much anywhere in Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and anywhere in between.
And the flight crew told me that this was the same flight crew that brought that group of illegal migrants over the weekend to Colombia. The Colombia government initially turned that plane around. You know what happens next. President Trump stepped in, threatened tariffs, and the government backed down right away. So they're hoping that is going to send a really strong message to any other country that decides not to cooperate and accept these planes with their own citizens inside, guys.
Hey, so Brooke, I got a question for you. There's a story in our packet today about how down in Florida, 2 vans were being driven that had, I think, 24 Chinese nationals in it. They had been smuggled into the country, apparently. China will not take back their people. Obviously, Ecuador does, and that's why that flight just went there. What other countries have already said, have they either said no, don't send them, or yes, we'll take them?
We know that a flight went to Guatemala and now Ecuador, and the authorities took them. And again, that flight that I mentioned to Colombia that denied these illegal migrants, this was the perfect example, right? You have them denying their own citizens, not taking them in. President Trump immediately taking action, saying, okay, if you're not going to listen to me, then watch what happens. And this is the perfect example they want to show countries who don't cooperate. You don't listen to us. Us will watch what happens next.
Wow.
Right.
Great reporting, Brooke.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So the bigger question is Venezuela, Cuba,
China,
and China, those people that don't take it. And they're talking about Sudan. So some of those other governments said, yeah, we'll pay it, take them. And they'll say, good, we'll put them in our prison if you're going to pay me to do it. So now if you want to cross and get into America, all right, you're going to cross illegally, you might end up in Sudan.
What about Gitmo?
Talk about that, yeah.
We got a lot of room in Gitmo.
Or why not fly them to another country, and then that country flies them into China?
Which is going to be a part of the bigger story. We're going to be talking to DHS Secretary about that later on the program. Meantime, on the street of our cities, DHS takes several career criminals into custody doing ICE raids.
Yeah, this has been really successful. Alexis McAdams is in New York City right now. Alexis.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, so this happened pretty quickly. And not only did they have a multi-agency effort on the ground right here in the Big Apple all throughout the middle of the night last night leading to those arrests, they also had the DHS Secretary herself out here, Kristi Noem, telling us that she was going to go one by one on those raids and watch who was taken out, saying they were targeting violent migrant criminals. She says she asked President Trump for this job because she knows how important it is. Watch.
The community is safer now. That's the reality of it. Everybody who has been concerned about walking their children to school or spending and doing business in these communities now know that New York City is safer because these dangerous criminals are gone and they're no longer living in their community.
The DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on the ground this week in New York City as those teams hit the streets in the middle of the night. You can see those pictures there. That was out in the Bronx, you guys. That was one of the top hot target areas, I'm told by crews, that they were targeting. It was a multi-agency effort aiming to remove violent criminals because they're not supposed to be here in the first place, the agency says. This comes as the New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he is in communication with DHS. His office saying this in part. Mayor Adams has made it clear that New York City is committed to working with our federal partners to fix our broken immigration system and focus on the small number of people who are entering our localities and committing violent crimes. One of the top targets in New York City was a Venezuelan migrant identified by DHS as Anderson Zambrano Pacheco. They were looking for this guy for months. Pacheco arrested on kidnapping, assault, and burglary charges. Sources telling me he's part of that South American gang we've been talking about, Tren de Aragua. He was in the Bronx hiding out and had a warrant out for his arrest in Colorado. Why? Because remember this viral takeover that happened out there in Aurora where the group of migrants was caught on camera armed with weapons breaking into those apartments. I'm told by sources that Pacheco was one of those migrants out there. Other busts too in Denver leading to drug and gang arrests. Listen.
Police search warrant! Policía, orden de registro! Police search warrant!
So the raids are ongoing. They're not just in Denver. They're not just in Philly, out in Chicago, you name it, not just in New York City. They're going one by one, trying to find these migrants who they say are dangerous. Back to you.
And Alexis, these are raids that are happening all across the country. And the administration has made it clear that they want at least 1,500 to 1,800 arrests every day, which would mean every one of the 25 field offices would have to make 75 arrests. ICE has got a very long list, and so all they got to do is go find them.
That's right. And here in New York City, I was asking some of the sources who are on the ground trying to get more. Remember those high-profile migrant crime cases that we've covered, right, for months here in New York City, like the migrants who beat those officers up in Times Square? Are they looking for them? Are they looking for some of those high-profile suspects? Only time will tell.
Right, thank you so much, Alexis.
Right.
If you look at some of the people that were arrested yesterday in New York City, one was with Trinde Aragua. He was the leader, actually, 25 years old. He was one of the ones that was caught on camera in Aurora trying to break into that apartment. He was found by Homeland Security officers in an apartment building in the Bronx, and he has warrants out in Colorado for kidnapping, burglary, and menacing. The Dominican national that was also arrested, he was wanted for a double homicide. Beating his girlfriend to death was one of those murders. And she was a 25-year-old mother of two, according to the New York Post. They caught up with him in Upper Manhattan. They arrested 2 Mexican nationals. One was previously charged with 3 counts of rape and sexual assault, busted in the Bronx. The other one had been charged with attempted murder and caught in Queens.
And people are happy. They're happy that this is happening. And here's a headline from the New York Post today. New York City minority communities cheer ICE raids. They're rounded up violent criminals. Get them the hell off the street. That's Evelyn Brown. She said, get them the hell out of the street so people don't have to walk in fear. Take the damn bad ones away.
Is she the 80-year-old lady?
Right, yeah, that's the 80-year-old lady. And keep in mind, too, they're opening up another shelter in the Bronx. Why? Because they closed the one at Randall's Island that never should have been open, which is, think about this, 12 to 15 fields that kids in the city, there's a finite amount of fields. They just took it up. So they got rid of that, but they have to open up another one. When they started protesting, the city told them, that doesn't matter. We've already done it. So this is the thing that's going to end now. They're going to have somebody in Washington that feels their pain, understands the price, and is going to start grabbing these criminals away. The ripple effect is the border is slowed to a trickle.
Well, they're celebrating because the people that are being victimized is the minority and the poor communities. Martha's Vineyard didn't want to accept them. The rich neighborhood, they don't bring the migrants to the rich neighborhood. They reject them. They put them in the poor neighborhood, so they've been victimized on a day-to-day basis. So, of course, they want the criminals out of their community.
And that's what they're doing, and they've made it very clear. And although with that flight we just saw, we did see some women involved. We don't know whether they have a criminal history as well. We're going to talk to Kristi Noem, who is the brand new Department of Homeland Security Secretary. She's got a big announcement you will only hear here on Fox coming up the next half hour.
And
There you have it, you guys. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and that is I'm going to let you decide what we watch next, because right now, Trump is actually live. He has signed the Lake and Riley Act, and he has been talking now for about 20 minutes or so on this update. So if you want to watch Trump live, I'm going to switch it over if you put a 47 in the comments. Now, if you want to watch more video footage on the ICE raids, so both of these are related, and you want to see Miss Noem, put a V for the videos. If you want, I've got videos lined up here, but while we're live, Trump actually just started going live a little while ago. I didn't realize it till I was already going live. If you want, put 47 or put a V for the videos, as we have footage of the military deportations that are taking place, the ICE arrests, Miss Kristi Noem doing that right now. So this is the first time we are in real time today, January 29, 2025, and I'm seeing 47s pouring in. People are saying they want to see that. All right, so we'll go ahead and do this. We'll switch it over to the live feed. We'll see how it does. If YouTube has any issues with it, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, because I don't know what happened during inauguration. I got totally kicked off, almost fully blocked. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go ahead and see if we can watch this. And then after that, I will switch it back over to more of the video footage so you guys can see. But let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, it looks like he has some people that are speaking. And I'll turn this on so we can see here, as we're hearing that this is live at this very moment. President Trump signs the Lake and Riley Act.
Savior Jesus Christ, because without his sacrifices, Laken's story would have ended on that horrific day that she was taken from us. But because of him, we can continue living knowing that we will see Laken again. There's no amount of change that will ever bring back our precious Laken. Our hope moving forward is that her life saves lives. We're so thankful that her passion for helping others and her legacy for doing good in the name of Jesus Christ will carry on. Thank you.
some of the people that we love that have been so instrumental. Okay? Okay.
Mr. President, government funding, can you take a quick question on government funding, the pause?
I don't think this is appropriate time, really. I respect that, but I don't think it's appropriate. I can just tell you government is doing very well, and we're cutting way back, but this is not the appropriate time. Thank you.
So there you have it, you guys. Wow, perfect timing. We were able to see him sign the Lake and Riley Act live. Just switched over right now. Thank you for all those of you that said 47. You can see him right there. He just signed it. So it is official while we are live. So, man, drop a 47 in the comments if you appreciate Donald Trump taking an aggressive effort on all of these things. And like I said, these ICE raids are taking place all over the nation. We're getting video footage coming in as they are addressing it across the U.S., and they are setting them back on military planes, Ecuador, Salvador, Colombia. Colombia has been confirmed. It is taking place all over right now. So that was Donald Trump just a little while ago live signing the Lake and Riley Act. And let's go ahead, though, and switch back as they have now just completed that signing. And I'm going to share with you some more video footage so that way you can see it for yourself of what is going on here with these raids that are taking place as they are capturing individuals. Oh, and yes, one other thing I wanted to mention now. If you haven't heard, in addition to that, take a look at this. We are hearing that Trump has ordered deportation of law-breaking Hamas students. Now, let me know if you like the sound of that. Take a look at this. President Donald Trump, 1 hour ago, he is poised to sign an executive order aimed at addressing anti-Semitism on college campuses, which includes revoking the visas of international students identified as pro-Hamas supporters or those who break laws during protests. The order specifically targets students on visas who have participated in illegal activities during anti-Israeli protests, not merely for expressing political views. So he is saying if you are doing anti-Semitism, if you are from another country, you came here with a visa, and you are bold enough to come out and do pro-Hamas, which we consider a terrorist group, protests, and you are doing anti-Semitism, you're out of here. Donald Trump says, drop a 47 if you like the sound of that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit the like button. But like I said, they're coming out about an hour or so ago as well today, January the 29th, 2025. Donald Trump taking care of business, cleaning up house here in the United States, saying it is time to get rid of all of these disgusting criminals that are committing the most heinous crimes. These are violent crimes against the innocent, the young, and the elderly. These are their primary targets. Now, as we heard, it wasn't all of them, because as they were apprehending these individuals, they were also coming across other ones that happened to be nearby in those same apartment complexes or whatever the case may be. And they were saying, hey, they're here illegally too, or hey, they're gang members that are here illegally too. Let's grab them. But the primary focus has been on these violent individuals. They've been loading them up and shipping them out. And now he's also saying for those of you that are students that are here on visas, that are stupid enough to jeopardize your visa being here by making these anti-Israeli and anti-U.S. protests in the streets, causing chaos in the streets. And actually, this is something that I've been thinking about for a while, is everybody has the right to freedom of speech in the United States. You can choose to talk bad about the government all day long if you want, or you can say whatever you want. But you are not allowed the right to disrupt and interrupt people's lives, to stop firefighters and ambulances from trying to do their job, from people trying to pick up their kids, people trying to go to work, going on the streets. And you know what I'd like to see? And I was actually talking to my wife about this. I'd like to see some legislation that enforces that there is not going to be any protests on our streets that disrupt public life. Maybe there should be, like I had mentioned, like, and I don't know if this is too extreme or not, maybe there should be a 3 honk rule, where it's like, hey, if you are choosing to put your body in front of vehicles and you don't know what people's situations are, where they need to go, there should be like a 3 honk rule. Hey, pull out my phone. I'm going to record. Here's my 3 honks. 1, 2, 3. That is your warning. I'm driving through. Get out of the way, or, you know, whatever happens, happens. But you chose to disrupt people's lives by getting on the street. There should be consequences for that. Who knows how many people's lives have been interrupted, or people that have even lost their lives, as we mentioned, ambulance, firefighters that can't get to their locations because of idiot visa people coming doing pro-Hamas protests in the middle of the streets, chaining themselves, blocking off and stopping vehicles. What about a 3 honk rule? Hey, get out of the way. Now, I don't know if this would make it as federal legislation, but I believe that here in the state of Texas, I might get some support for that. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree or do you disagree? If you agree, put an A. If you disagree, put a D. But I was thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll make some effort to put together a piece of legislation, present it to some local representatives and say, hey, we need something that's going to say, hey, we're not going to put up with this stupid mess anymore. And now you can see Donald Trump is also saying that anybody that has done that in the past, they're coming after you next. So for those of you students that have been doing dumb stuff and that think these things, well, guess what? You might want to pack your bags because they're coming for you next. So that is also taking place. And I'm seeing a lot of A's coming in. I'm seeing a couple of D's. And the D's are probably the individuals that are the ones that are out on the streets doing those protests. I think if you're dumb enough to go stand in front of a car, play stupid games, get stupid prizes. That's my particular thought. I've taught my kids, don't play in the streets. Maybe somebody needs to teach these kids that as well. That's just my opinion on that, but I might be too harsh. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you disagree, that's totally fine. I'm okay with people disagreeing with my opinion, but I also don't think that it is okay for them to interrupt and disrupt people's lives because of them wanting to protest. And there are consequences and repercussions for your actions. So, yeah, and I see a lot of A's coming through. Yeah, so we will see. But in addition to that, let's go ahead and continue on. As I mentioned, they are taking place all over the nation right now. We are seeing them, getting them out of here because they are focusing on the primary, most heinous crimes that are being committed against people. And we're also seeing Kristi Noem, as they mentioned. She is over there with ICE. She is part of the raids. They are making sure that they get everybody out of here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage so that way you can see it for yourself.
And newly minted Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is hitting the ground running, enforcing President Trump's immigration agenda.
Joining federal agencies here in New York City, Noem says among those arrested was the ringleader of that vicious Venezuelan gang, Trinde Aragua.
And now she has a big announcement on additional measures DHS is ready to take in. This is a Fox and Friends exclusive.
That's right. So, Secretary Kristi Noem joins us right now. Madam Secretary, good morning and congratulations.
Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. It's wonderful to be with all of you.
Okay, the exclusive announcement is we are withdrawing the Venezuelan temporary status directive. What, I remember when Mayorkas jammed that through. What does that mean?
Well, before he left town, Mayorkas signed an order that said for 18 months they were going to extend this protection to people that are in temporary protected status, which meant they were going to be able to stay here and violate our laws for another 18 months, and we stopped that. Today we signed an executive order within the Department of Homeland Security in a direction that we were not going to follow through on what he did to tie our hands, that we are going to follow the process, evaluate all of these individuals that are in our country, including the Venezuelans that are here and members of TDA. Listen, I was in New York City yesterday, and the people of this country want these dirtbags out. They want their communities to be safe. It was so amazing to me to see people walk by us on the street early in the morning and just say thank you. Thank you for being here. So this is part of our plan to make sure that we're protecting America, keeping it safe again, just like President Trump promised.
Go ahead, Ainsley.
Thank you, Lawrence. There's some Democratic leaders that are pushing back against these ICE raids. I don't get it. But here's some of the comments from these Democratic leaders.
Stand together firmly in our welcoming city status. The type of fear that this administration is trying to incite, we are demonstrating that we are going to protect the residents of this city.
It is performative theater, and it's nothing more than shock and awe.
Our local law enforcement will stand up for those law-abiding, undocumented people in our state.
The message that I'm hearing from them, the message I'm hearing from them is, we want to protect the rapist that's here illegally. We want to protect that person that was arrested over the last few days that has ties to ISIS. We want to protect the man who allegedly murdered his girlfriend who was pregnant and a mother of two. Why do they have a problem with arresting these career criminals that are here illegally?
They're completely out of touch with the people in their cities and communities. That's exactly what these Democrat leaders are saying, is we want to protect the cartels. We want to protect the gangs. We want to make sure that people continue to die from guns, violence, and drugs. And it's wrong, and they're going to find out very soon that their communities are not with them. And listen, yesterday we picked up one of the ringleaders at TDA. He had just been a part of a gun weapons exchange and was trying to buy grenades. Why would anybody in this country need to buy a grenade and go out and perpetuate violence? He was one of those that was involved in Colorado, in Aurora, and we're so thankful we got him off the streets. And what I've continuously said to people is, what do you say to Lake and Riley's family? We're going to sign that bill today into law. The president will in the Oval Office to make sure we're going after these criminals. But the president's taking action, and what was amazing is you'll hear people and Democrat leaders in different cities, like New York City, some of their city council members have tried to attack what we're doing as far as enforcing our laws, but the people on the streets are not with them. It was amazing to hear people and see them as they walked by taking their kids to school, going to work, just walk by us and quietly say, thank you. Thank you for being here. And that means the world to those officers that are out there risking their lives to bring safety back.
So, Madam Secretary, you guys, your men and women are doing a fantastic job. It's a dangerous job. Those fugitive task force, it's a risky business. It's easy in the sense from a PR perspective to get the criminals. No one wants, unless you're deranged, want the criminals on the street, the violent criminals. What I worry about is the PR when you guys go to the next layer of people that have overstayed their visas or work doing other jobs. How do you guys overcome that? Because you've been in politics for a long time. The American people can be fickle. They support something at one point, and then the news media puts a crying child or someone on TV, and they change. So how are y'all going to handle that portion?
I think we keep talking to people and talk to them about the fact that this is an America where justice is applied equally. We can't say that American citizens have to follow the law and then say that people from other countries don't have to. We choose laws, we put them in place. Congress has the chance to change the law, but until then, our job is to enforce it. And when you want to live in a country where everybody's treated the same and fairly and equally and has a chance to live the American dream. So we understand that there's some families who have been here illegally and have been perpetuating that. That's a discussion that we're going to have to continue to have and see if we can fix our legal immigration system as well. That's one of my jobs is, not only are we going after those that are here illegally, but we have to do due diligence and making sure we have the resources to process paperwork in a timely manner. And so more immigration courts and judges, getting those kind of resources through Congress is important to make sure we're not just securing the border, we're deporting these dangerous individuals and then fixing our broken system.
And also legal work visas for the construction industry and other things like that, because there's people with great work ethics. Real quick, what are you going to do with the Venezuelans, the Cubans, when these countries don't want to take them back? You got 607,000 Venezuelans here. What do we do?
Well, we have a fantastic Secretary of State in Secretary Rubio, and he has been doing incredible work. The other night, I was talking to him on the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he was up and still discussing negotiations with other countries and working with his people and in these countries to do diplomatic relations. And the president clearly will exercise all the authority and power that he has to make these countries take them back. So,
are you ruling out Gitmo?
Oh, yeah, we're evaluating and talking about that right now. So president's decision, but it's an asset, and we're going to continue to look at how we can use all of our assets to keep America safe.
What a whirlwind it must have been for you over the last week or so. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, thank you very much.
There you have it, you guys. That was Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. And let me know your thoughts. They are trying to clean up those streets. And that was an exclusive that she did today with Fox News. Like I said, all this coming out today, January the 29th, 2025, as we are hearing that there are new raids taking place all over the United States. They are particularly getting out gang leaders now, we're hearing, getting out the most violent criminals. Tren del Agua, all of these individuals, they are getting them out of here. And also, like I mentioned just a little while ago, we watched live, we saw Donald Trump sign the Lake and Riley Act. But I've got more video footage for you if you want to see Kristi Noem in action. Take a look at this. I'm going to share with you some video footage that came out as she is right there with them. As she's with ICE, they are getting the bad guys. And so I'm going to play this for you guys, but this is happening right now. I mean, we are hearing that they are aggressively getting these individuals out, cleaning up the United States. And like I said, Donald Trump said we were going to see the largest mass deportation effort ever, and he is making good on his word. And also, as I mentioned, all of the students that are out there that are protesting against the United States, against Israel, saying they don't want to be here, and they're here on visas complaining about the U.S., he's saying, pack your bags, you're next. They're coming for you as well. So let me go ahead, and I see more A's still pouring in. I see there's a lot of people that agree, some people that disagree. And again, that was just like a first idea that popped into my head, but I was thinking, like, what are some of the things that we could do to help alleviate the people protesting on the streets? Because I don't think that there's anything wrong. You have the right to protest and to vocalize your disapproval for things, but not in the streets where you are impeding upon people's lives, upon, like I said, emergency vehicles and things like that. You need to get out of the streets. You need to make sure that you protest in locations that are appropriate. You have a permit to protest somewhere or in a public location, that's fine, but not on the streets. And I think if you dive into the details of it, I do think, like, I can't remember, but you need to have certain permits to have big displays or protests, and just making sure that they adhere to legal rules and making sure that it is not on the streets, not blocking vehicles people that need to pick up their children, ambulances, firefighters that need to go and address emergencies, people trying to go to and from work, people trying to do all of these things. So there's nothing wrong with freedom of speech. You can do it, but you need to do it in the appropriate location. And that is not the appropriate location. And I think that people are sick of this blocking the streets. And I think, like, there needs to be repercussions. And I think that if you are dumb enough to chain yourself to block vehicles and you're not willing to get out of the way, well, then I think that vehicles should have the right to push through, and they should give fair warning. But hey, get out of the way. Otherwise, we're going through. That's just my thought. And I said, if you agree to put an A, if you disagree, put a D, and I'm still seeing A's coming in. Now, also, I know that there are those that might disagree. They might say, like, that's too much of a aggressive approach or whatever the case. I see some people putting in the comments, and I don't think that it would probably get federal approval. I don't know, maybe we could try, but I think that it would get state approval in Texas, and I think that it might cause a lot of those protesters to think twice, or if they hear 3 honks, to get out of the way. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But let me go ahead and play this video footage for you so that way you can see it for yourself. And also, if you appreciate the updates, do me a favor, hit the like button. 5 more likes. We got 1,000 likes while we're live right now, as I'm sharing with you the latest, as we're hearing that new military deportation flights are taking place across the United States, as ICE is arresting gang members and shipping them out. Let's go ahead and play the video footage so you can see Kristi Noem in action.
So, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem joining federal authorities on the ground to oversee the first round of deportation raids in New York City. Watch.
The community is safer now. That's the reality of it. Everybody who has been concerned about walking their children to school or spending and doing business in these communities now know that New York City is safer because these dangerous criminals are gone and they're no longer living in their community.
My next guest was with Secretary Noem on the ground during yesterday's raids, where investigators say an accused gang ringleader was taken into custody. That person was seen in this video right here. Y'all may remember this apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado last year. Special agent in charge of the DEA's New York division, Frank Tarantino, joins us now. First, welcome back to the city. I met you about 6 years ago when you were in New Jersey. Tell us about these operations, the people like that offender that you guys are going after.
Yeah, good morning, Lawrence. You know, the DEA is working with its partners from DHS, more specifically HSI, ICE, ERO, and our other federal law enforcement partners to use all the resources in the government, essentially a whole of government approach to remove those violent, illegal criminal drug traffickers from our communities, the ones that are causing the most harm, really to keep America safe.
So give me some examples of backgrounds of some of the individuals, because I'm seeing all of these agents together.
Yeah.
That means it's a task force. That means these are violent criminals that are security threats for our country.
That's absolutely correct. You know, the DEA has prioritized its drug investigations on those involving violent, criminal, illegal drug traffickers. And this is an example of the work that we do day in and day out with our partners from the Department of Homeland Security, specifically HSI, ICE, and ERO. And these arrests yesterday are indicative of the types of violent offenders that are walking our city streets. And the DEA is committed to working with our partners to remove them, to keep our city safe.
I know your background. I know you have served amongst both administrations, Republican and Democrat.
Yeah.
But then I look at these target lists on there, and just my background, I know if you got all these people that are on a wall right now, y'all have known about them for a long time. What has changed that you guys are able to go scoop these guys up?
This is a renewed focus, a recommitment to do more, to protect our cities, to really go after the most violent, illegal criminal drug traffickers, violent criminals that have violated our immigration laws. This is the top priority from this administration for the DEA, for our partners in Homeland Security, and we will work collaboratively with them day in and day out until we make a difference and hold those people accountable that are driving violence in our city.
I know the men and women that do your job, and I know you guys take personal offense to some of the misinformation that's put out there. They're saying that you're going after children, that you're going after abuelas. Can you explain to the public what these operations are?
Yeah, Lawrence, this is data-driven, intelligence-led operations. These are targets that we have known of and or have targeted in previous enforcement efforts, but have not had the opportunity and the backing to go out and hold them accountable. And so yesterday, what you saw is the recommitment of the federal law enforcement community to really go back and take our cities back, to keep the cities safe, to keep our Americans healthy, and to give them that confidence that the law enforcement community is there to protect them, to serve, and to make sure that they feel like they have the confidence to go to work, to go to restaurants, to allow their kids to play in the playground. That's what the federal law enforcement community is committed to.
Real quickly, before I let you go, have you seen a tide change with local law enforcement? No one knows the community better than a beat cop. You guys need their cooperation, support with these operations. I know the politicians may feel differently, but have you seen a tide change with the local cops as a result of some of the ones that y'all been able to grab off the street?
So we have an incredible partnership here with the New York City Police Department, and it goes back over 50 years. The oldest drug enforcement task force in the country is right here in the New York Division. And we have the full confidence and trust in the NYPD, and the work that they do day in and day out is evident to us and into the community, and we will continue to work with them and stand shoulder to shoulder with them to make a difference in New York City.
Special Agent, great work out there. Stay safe, and give my regards to all the men and women out there that are fighting to keep our community safe. Thank you.
There you have it, you guys. And as I mentioned, ICE is capturing Trenda Agua's gang member leader in New York City. So they are taking care of business all over the nation right now. They are making major arrests, going for the most violent criminals, and they are getting them out. And we're hearing they are pushing through. And man, and you heard there some of the misinformation coming out. I actually had seen some of this as well. And I think it was, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was maybe Jake Tapper or somebody. I can't remember who it was that had come out and was questioning what was going on. And they were saying, what do you say to the individuals that are being arrested, and they're going to take away all of the jobs for agriculture and the people that work in the fields. And they said, well, what about the family members and things like that? And he said, well, I hope you're not insinuating that we want to keep violent criminals to do agricultural work. And he said, and just in case you are insinuating that, he said, I would let you know that we're hearing that illegal immigrants that come across the nation, there's this misconception that that's what they do. He's like, they actually only make up, of all of them, only 1% of the illegal immigrants that are here actually are working in fields. And he said a lot of the illegal ones and the criminals, they're not working in the fields. So all the people we're arresting, that's not the case whatsoever. And then and of course that individual was trying to switch the topic. Jake Tapper was he was like, no, I'm addressing your question, letting you know that that's not the case. And we're also, as he mentioned, not taking abuelas. Somebody had messaged me on Instagram saying, what about the 2-year-olds? No, that's not who they're capturing. That's total misinformation. The priority, the focus right now is these violent criminals and gang members. And that is exactly, if you look at all the video footage, who they're getting out. And they're trying to make America safe again, closing down the borders, getting the criminals that are committing the most heinous, violent crimes against the innocent, the elderly, against the young. They are shipping them out, and they are telling them, don't come back. We're getting them out. And you've seen, I've played video footage for you of the individuals that they have been sending out, that have been shouting, I'm not going back to Haiti, F Trump, individuals that have had 17 counts against them, criminal counts, various gang associations across the board. So now we're hearing that they are addressing this. Donald Trump is making good on his promises. And I actually have heard several people say in the first week of Donald Trump being in the White House, he has already done more than Joe Biden in the last 4 years. Let me know if you agree. If you agree, drop a 47 in the comments and hit that like button. But let's also take a look at this as we're going to be taking a look at yesterday. We saw the first White House press briefing with Karoline Leavitt, the new White House press secretary, and she addresses this and several other things. And also yesterday as well, she had mentioned, and I'm not sure if you guys saw this, she mentioned that they're actually going to be opening up the press briefing room to not just the legacy media, but to anybody that has a YouTube channel, a social media presence, anybody that reports the news. They're going to start accepting applications for you to get a press pass to the White House to report directly and ask questions of the press secretary. So yesterday, after I found out, I submitted my application. So we're going to be seeing, I'll let you know either way. I know there's going to be a lot of applicants, so if not, no worries. But if they do, I'll let you guys know, hey, maybe next week I'll be in D.C. reporting directly from the White House, and I'll let you know what the press secretary has to say. That would be pretty epic, pretty cool. Don't know if it'll happen or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try to see what we can do. And if that does happen, then I will definitely hop on the channel and I'll ask individuals, or maybe I'll do a question in the community comments and say, hey, I'm about to go in front of the White House. Let me know what questions you want to know. That would be pretty awesome. So we'll see. I'll keep you up to date. But let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage so you can see it for yourself of the first press briefing that happened yesterday with the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt. And I'm not even sure if I'm saying that correctly yet, if that's how her name is pronounced. But let's go ahead and play the clip.
Karoline Leavitt with us today, and good morning to you. Coming off the briefing from yesterday, appreciate your time. Let's get right to it. Tom Homan last night with Jesse. He's not happy. Watch.
Are you satisfied, Tom Homan, with the pace of migrant deportations?
No. We got to do more. We got to open that aperture up, which we're going to do. It was a great start, but we're not finished, and we need more deportations, a lot more deportations, and that's what we're working on. Sanctuary cities are difficult to operate in.
So Caroline, he says two things in there. Obviously, at the end, sanctuary cities are difficult to operate in. We all knew that at the start. The other thing it says we've got to do more. Is the White House giving him all the resources that Tom Homan is looking for now?
President Trump has used every lever of his executive power to ensure that we can secure the border and launch this large mass deportation operation. And I would echo the comments of my colleague, Mr. Homan. While this has been a great start, we will not get complacent. The previous administration allowed tens of millions of illegal people into the interior of our country, and President Trump has promised the American people that he is going to deport those individuals. And so every single day, this administration is empowering law enforcement agents on the ground across our country to do their jobs, to work with federal law enforcement officers in CBP and in ICE to deport heinous illegal criminals from American communities. We also will need more funding from Congress when it comes to detention and deportation efforts, and that's something President Trump has made very clear to our allies on Capitol Hill as well.
Caroline, I'm going to call you Caroline No Binder Levitt, which is an impressive feat, I have to say, especially on the first day, and quite a contrast indeed. I'm interested in a couple things. One, I want you to listen to these Blue City mayors. They want to give ICE the runaround. Watch.
We are in intense and scary times for so many of our community members, and federal government can implement their laws, and we are not forced to participate in their actions.
What this administration is attempting to do, he's attempting to get us to surrender our humanity. We're not going to do that in Chicago.
Caroline, I know that later today, I understand that President Trump is going to sign another executive order to help combat anti-Semitism, and this will go into those cities and possibly on campuses. What can you tell us about that?
Well, first, to respond to the Democrat mayors that you just showed, I can't help, being from New England myself, to comment on the fact that Mayor Wu is an incredibly unpopular mayor up in Boston. And the people of Boston, if you actually talk to them, want this administration to move into that city and secure it and deport illegal criminals from their communities, which ICE Boston has done. I noted one of those instances yesterday in my briefing of an illegal immigrant who has been convicted of rape that ICE Boston has recently removed. Every day, this administration is focused on making American communities safer, and Democrat mayors should be inclined to help this administration do that because that's what their constituents want. As for what President Trump is signing at the White House today, it's a very big day here at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The president will be signing the Laken-Riley Act into law this afternoon. This was a bipartisan bill that addresses one of the many failures that led to the disturbing murder of beautiful young Laken. Her family will be at the White House today in her honor, and the president is very proud and excited to sign this bipartisan piece of legislation. He also will sign executive orders addressing school choice, ending funding for public schools that support critical race theory and other divisive measures in their curriculums. And as for anti-Semitism, the president will also be signing an executive order to address that as well.
Okay, that's 2 o'clock this afternoon. Can you confirm that? And if so, we will cover it live in between all these confirmation hearings. You opened your hearing yesterday talking about drones in New Jersey. And you made a statement that left me wondering, because you said they were authorized by the FAA for research and various other reasons. What are the various other reasons for the FAA?
The various other reasons I pointed out as well in terms of what these drones were doing. They were recreational drones. They were hobbyists. They were private individuals that enjoy flying drones. And once there was curiosity about the drones, then other, folks that own drones, I guess, were inclined to fly their drones as well. So it led to an increase of the sightings that the people of New Jersey were seeing. But as President Trump told me to make it very clear at the podium yesterday, this was not the enemy. These were simply hobbyists and the FAA who were doing these drones for research.
So everyone can breathe a sigh of relief on that. You talked about it yesterday. Peter Doocy just gave us an update at the beginning of the show about this call to offer buyouts to federal workers. Senator Tim Kaine is in Virginia. Of course, a lot of federal workers from Virginia. He said this, watch.
The president has no authority to make that offer. If you resign in the next week, we're just going to pay you for doing nothing for the next 7 months. Don't be fooled. He's tricked hundreds of people with that offer. If you accept that offer and resign, he'll stiff you just like he stiffed the contractors.
There are about 2 million federal employees across the country. Can you clarify whether people will actually be able to get the money? Kane is claiming that even if you do take this offer, you won't get paid through September 30th. How do you respond?
Well, first of all, he questioned President Trump's legal authority to do this, and the president has the legal authority to tell federal workers that within the confines of the law and their contracts, they have to show up to work. Only 6% of the federal workforce in Washington, D.C. actually shows up to the office. That's egregious. American workers, the middle class, who keep this government up and running with their hard-earned tax dollars, have to show up to the office every day, and President Trump expects bureaucrats to do the same. And if they don't like it, well, guess what? They are getting a very generous payout from this administration. They'll be paid for the next 8 months. I think Doge just put out a tweet. It's great that says that they can have their long-awaited vacation if they wish for the next 8 months. But we are going to ensure that the federal office buildings in this city are filled with
you can guarantee that they will
and
get
excited
paid?
workers. Yes, they will.
Last question. Does Kennedy have the votes to be confirmed? Yes or no?
We believe so, and we sure hope that he does, because he is an exceptional and brilliant individual, highly respected. He's going to help President Trump make America healthy again, which is a priority for tens of millions of Americans at home.
Okay, the hearing starts in 30 minutes, and we're waiting for it.
There you have it, you guys. And actually, we saw that Donald Trump actually signed already. We watched it live just a little while ago, the Lincoln-Riley Act, and they are taking care of business, you guys. They are getting things done. We also saw Kristi Noem out there with ICE. They're making new arrests. And like I said, we are seeing across cities around the United States, cities where ICE is raiding, it is taking place. We have heard there have been thousands of arrests, as they are also primarily focused on getting the most violent out, but now also, and you can see here, 4,500 migrants arrested under Trump's new administration. He's only been in office a week, and we're hearing, in addition to that, they are getting gang leaders out, leaders of, you can see here, gang leaders arrested in New York City. They are taking care of business. So, like I said, there is a lot going on. Donald Trump making good on his word, getting things done. And I will continue to keep you up to date. There is a lot taking place. And as you saw also, you heard them mention that there's federal buyouts right now as well that have been offered. I'm sure you already know this if you work for the federal government, that right now they're saying that DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, has decided that anybody that works for the federal government, they are trying to cut costs. So right now they are offering a buyout. They're saying either you go back to work in the office, you must go into the workplace and work, or if you want right now, you can resign and they will cover you. You will be paid for the next 7 months. Even though you resign today, over the next 7 months, they will pay you a salary that gives you plenty of time to figure out what you're going to do next, to take a vacation if you want, whatever the case may be, but they will cover you for the next 7 months. Anybody that works for the federal government, there are a couple of offices that are an exception that they can't resign, but the vast majority of anybody in the federal government, they said Trump is offering to buy you out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But they're saying that they're trying to figure out how to cut spending for the federal government. So a lot going on. The United States is getting cleaned up of illegal immigrants that have come in here illegally and are committing heinous crimes. Lincoln-Riley Act literally signed moments ago. We saw it live, and they are doing a lot right now. So thank you, Donald Trump. If you appreciate him, drop a 47, hit that like button. And if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Come and join the Ram fam. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell. I'm also on Rumble, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Truth Social, and Facebook as well. And we're going to have our own website very soon. I'm going to have my own news network coming out. And who knows, maybe I'll be reporting directly from the White House soon. I'll let you know. But I appreciate all the support. I'll continue to keep you guys up to date. And thank you for all the well wishes and prayers. Yes, many of you mentioned I'm looking a lot better. I appreciate that. I was struggling with COVID or the flu or something over the weekend. Lost my taste for a couple days, 3 days straight with a 102 fever that wouldn't break. The chills. wearing several layers of clothes to try to stay warm. I was freezing, sick, massive headaches, body aches. But I'm feeling a whole lot better now. Just mostly runny nose and feeling a little tired, but I'm on the mend, feeling a whole lot better. So I will continue to keep you guys up to speed on everything. But that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys a ton, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.